Welcome to Spiritual Awakening family. What does it mean to be a starseed or lightworker? And what is the core mission? A shift is taking place. Humanity is changing. Around the world, people are realizing that previous paradigms are not working and we must change our way of living in order to survive. During this time, many people identify themselves as lightworkers and believe that they are here on a mission to help change the world. In simple terms, a lightworker is a person who chooses to change the world by raising the vibration of the self and others. There are many paths to higher vibration and all of them are viable. It is not the details of how you get there, but the outcome that is of greatest importance. An important thing to understand about this article is that, like any parable, it offers a framework to help you understand the mission and what is going on, using language and pictures that you are familiar with. We do not presume to speak unequivocally for all lightworkers. We merely wish to create some structure that will help people understand the new world they find themselves living in, and importantly, the things they are experiencing in their lives. We also emphasize that as the creator, you have choice about which path draws you. Understanding common terms helps us surge forward as a collective group. When we have definitions and a vocabulary, we waste less time explaining ourselves and the semantics of terminology, and more time talking about what really matters to us all, the issues that have brought us together as a collective. As you'll learn about the morphic field below, having a unified thought structure enables us to form a stronger and more united presence in the global energetic field as well. Basically, reading and understanding the framework allows you to connect via the morphic field to others who have done the same. In this manner we will also draw or manifest each other into our real day-to-day lives, creating a common energetic understanding and therefore, energetic resonance and bond. You will also discover that raising your own vibration is within your control and that your influence goes beyond yourself. Lightworkers and light beings are collective terms for the group of souls that have incarnated on Earth during this time to help the planet transition onto a new level of awareness and into a new reality. In a nutshell, we are here to focus on improving ourselves and being the best people and souls we can be, taking active and intentional steps to shift our own energy and the energy of those we come into contact with. Over time our energies will combine to create a grid of positive energy that changes the worldwide holographic field, shifting humanity to a higher consciousness, and enabling us to apply our collective knowledge to creating a better life for all the people of the world. It is important to clarify that lightwork is not about religion. While there are aspects of religious concepts discussed, such as Christ consciousness, the concept of lightwork involves faith beyond religious choice. In fact, part of the growth of a lightworker includes accepting that others can have a different belief system, because it is not the details of faith that matter, but instead the outcome of higher vibration stimulated by the faith experience. Soul aspects. Lightworkers can identify themselves as light warriors, star seeds, star beings, Pleiadian, Sirian, Arcturian, ETs, Earth angels, human angels, imps, healers and more. While in some rare cases you have Pleiadians, Sirians or other ETs that have incarnated here or entered a human body to help specifically, in many cases these terms actually refer to the soul aspects that are waking up inside you, offering you guidance and understanding. Your soul can be made up of a composite of soul aspects or pieces. The more soul aspects making up your soul, the stronger it will be. According to Pleiadian teachings, a Christed soul, which is the highest level of consciousness within our cosmos, is comprised of 144,000 soul aspects. So the term Christ is actually a title, and if you reach that level of enlightenment, Christ will be added to your name. The idea of a Christed soul actually stems from how souls were created at the very dawn of creation, around the time of the Elohim. In our joy and rapture of separating and then joining again in tantric union, one event of tantric union saw 144,000 souls merge in spontaneous tantric union, creating the sonship or the Christed soul. In a nutshell, you could say that 144,000 souls collectively are God as we think of God, while another 144,000 souls make up the sonship. The sonship souls are the ones that get to incarnate on Earth and other physical dimensions in creation. Each soul can further split into 144,000 pieces, and those pieces can further split into 144,000 pieces, enabling you to have multiple incarnations across multiple dimensions and realities at the same time. Unlike mainstream religion, which would have you worshipping Jesus or a specific deity, the goal of Lightworkers is to become like Jesus or Buddha, a being operating at a higher level of consciousness. As go along your path and grow your consciousness, the surges of information coming through are actually from soul aspects you've brought with you from higher dimensions to help you, and us all, through this time. These souls aspects may be from lives you've already lived or lives that you will live in the future, because time is only linear and contiguous inside the realm of physical creation. The holographic field. The main reason for this entire waking up of soul aspects is the holographic or morphic field. Read more about the holographic field here. When kinesiology was first discovered a few decades back, it was really a growth surge for those of us in the spiritual and energy healing fields, because it was the first scientifically replicable energy healing technique and modality. This meant that it gained mainstream awareness and impact, mainly through sports science medicine. In 1994, Sir David Hawkins released his pivotal book, Power versus Force, focused on the development of higher consciousness. The book encapsulated 20 years of study into kinesiology and laid out the findings uncovered over that time. One of the key replicable and scientifically recognized findings was the existence of the morphic or holographic field. Sir David was not the only person to discuss these ideas, though. Irvin Laszlo wrote about quantum consciousness and the Akashic field, Barbara Hubbard wrote about conscious evolution, and Andrew Cohen wrote about evolutionary enlightenment. All of them share similar concepts, that humanity is capable of enhancing our level of consciousness and we have direct influence on our progress. In a nutshell, the morphic field is like the internet of all that knowledge, and our minds are like devices that can plug into this field and extract energy and information. Any energy and information we have inside us also filters into this field, and that's how we create the world around us through our energy. It just flows into the morphic field. You've experienced the field firsthand if you've walked into a place that changed your mood immediately. Your energy was overwhelmed by the morphic resonance of the environment you stepped into, and you took on the mood of the environment. Like Dorothy arriving in Oz, suddenly everything had color. As you clear each layer of information and energy inside you, you raise your system's vibration to a level where more advanced soul aspects can begin operating and engaging with you on a conscious level. As each of these higher aspects wakes up, you experience a broader range of knowledge than you previously could extract from the morphic field. That's why you feel smarter after you shift, release and heal. The amount of information available to you has literally grown. You are smarter and you also see more. Are you still with us? This is where it gets trickier. The age of Aquarius is expanding the amount of information available in the morphic field, so some of the soul aspects that are waking up inside you now are actually allowing you to think certain pieces of information on Earth for the first time. This is why so many of the thoughts that have been coming to you lately are so unusual and new. They are literally being thought on Earth for the very first time. If it had to happen on a level that you could see, it would be like waking up one morning to find out there are 5 new colors and 15 new shades or variations in every existing color. All the scales of understanding of information on Earth are expanding in this way. In more day-to-day terms, where we once had physical, emotional, mental and spiritual aspects, PEMS, we now have cosmic as well, PEMSC. We've seen such growth before in human evolution, when the elemental scale went from earth, water, wood, metal and fire, only what could be directly experienced, to becoming earth, water, air and fire. Air replaced wood and metal because the enhancement of knowledge in the morphic field allowed the abstract concept of air to become tangible in the human experience. So as each of the frontrunners of thought becomes aware, as an awareness, of these new thoughts, they anchor it further into the morphic field, making it even easier for others to think. Over time, as enough people incorporate new concepts, it becomes a normative level of thinking and the whole of society can accept it, and it only takes a limited few of us to kickstart that process. Kinesiology has an explanation for how this works. People who have achieved a higher level of consciousness counterbalance as many as 70 million people who are at lower ends of the scale. If you are only midway up the human consciousness scale, the thoughts and energy you put out are still compensating for hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people. It grows exponentially as you rise up the scale. Over the long term, what this will mean for humanity as a whole is that the stuff we previously thought of as rare and out of reach will become much more commonplace, including psychic and intuitive abilities, healing, miracles and more. On top of that, there will be a whole new level of advanced spiritual information, cosmic or PEMSC. This is what we're here to usher in, the new thinking that will change the world. Through our combined and cumulative personal growth, we will create a network and web of positive energy that adjusts the morphic field of the planet in favor of light. So there's no separating your personal journey from the Lightworker mission. Your soul growth is the biggest part of the Lightworker mission. It really is quite beautiful. By healing yourself, you heal the world. For many people who strongly identify as being from another planet or race, you'll find they brought a number of soul aspects with them from that plane or have formed a habit of working through that aspect of their soul. If you are more flexible and allow it to flow, you can actually experience the range of soul aspects as they change, allowing you to access higher dimensional information than what you're currently accessing, including angelic aspects and even deities. Remember, your soul aspects will be drawn from oversouls that already have a number of recursions playing out. You are a recursion of that oversoul aspect yourself, as opposed to being the main soul identity that you currently think you are. In a sense, you may be living many lifetimes at the same moment in the energy continuum, and each vibrational shift resonates across all your lives. By healing and raising vibration now, you are also healing your past and future selves. The most important aspect to keep in mind as you learn and adjust through the shift is your personal empowerment. We continually have choice about what knowledge we choose to digest or discard, and we have the ability to adjust our perception of events or external stimulus in order to change our understanding. Any categories we apply to ourselves simply help us identify and enhance abilities that are inherent in us already. We are the creators of our experience. Roles of the Lightworker. A Lightworker does not need to be Christian. In fact, many Lightworkers explore multiple faiths, blending aspects into their own personal rituals and discarding what does not resonate. Most Lightworkers identify as spiritual more than religious. While the parable of Jesus provides a storyline that many can follow, the concepts presented here apply to people of any faith. In order to understand the roles of the Lightworkers on the planet, you need to look at the names we've assigned to Jesus and God, the Savior or Redeemer, the Creator and the Messiah. As we turn this hairpin bend of creation, we'll add another moniker to that list, the Unifier. You can be a Savior, Creator, Messiah and Unifier. One does not exclude the other, as you'll see below. Saviors, Redeemers and Empaths. One of the key aspects Jesus Christ is noted for is forgiving the world's sins. He released them through the act of crucifixion and resurrection. Today, we call that shifting, releasing and healing. As an empath, you pick up people's energy, karma or stuff, whatever you want to call it, and shift it through your life, releasing that energy the same way that Jesus released the energies of what couldn't be shifted in the world in his time. When you get down to the nuts and bolts of healing, basically all healing can be facilitated through forgiveness. So Jesus did a massive healing session on the world by forgiving everything, and then he released the effects of the shift through his own body. This time around though, well, the Earth's population has grown a bit. From 260 million to just shy of 8 billion. That would be a lot of load for one person to bear. I mean 260 million already killed Jesus, LOL smile. So this time around there are lots of us and we each shift as much as we can. The energies we shift through ourselves are then cleaned up, because we always bounce back positively. When we as Lightworkers go through negative life experiences and shifts, we don't become bitter and angry or put more negativity into the morphic field. God gives us the pain because we can shift it and then bounce back and still put good into the world. As one of the saviors, you are correct in thinking that most normal people would die if they had to survive what you have. It's also why so many Lightworker souls were sent into families and situations where there was abuse and sexual abuse of an extreme nature. Your empath ability allows you to survive that without perpetuating it to the next generation. This Savior Empath mission is one of the biggest cleanups we're doing on the planet energy-wise. This is also how your personal stuff matters to the global shift. As each individual raises their personal vibration, it makes it a little bit easier for everyone else to reach a higher level of consciousness. Read more about being an empath here. Conscious co-creators. In order to understand conscious co-creators, you must understand two things. First, that this 3D 4D reality is the highest point of separation and individuation we can know ourselves at. In a nutshell, we are in the image of God because this is the closest we can get to being God with our ego identity intact. We're little mini gods. The second thing to understand is that the whole return of creation is now about working in unity with larger and larger groups of energy, because we're beginning the process of remerging the energies into a collective, into one or all that is. As creators, we are here to create the new world of love and light so that it is ready for paradise on Earth. By changing the morphic field of the planet, we're creating the new energy for the new world. Right now there is so much dark on the planet because of people's bad choices that we cannot support the energy of heaven on Earth. By making better decisions, and by not perpetuating the pain and trauma that is carried on down so many family lines, we are creating a new experience of life on Earth, both for future generations and ourselves. Unify us and join us. The new term that the new cosmic layer of information is introducing is unifiers or joiners. We're all unifiers and joiners, because we are here to implement the hairpin bend of creation to begin its journey back to source or all that is. Up until this point, the whole of creation has been about breaking the God energy that everything is made of into smaller and smaller pieces. Even your thoughts break that energy down into smaller pieces, because even your thoughts are made of the same God stuff. This also why you feel whole after you have reintegrated an idea, had an awareness or accepted something about yourself you'd previously rejected. The moment you own the thought, you reconcile that piece of the energy of creation into yourself. While you reject any thought, you hold that part of creation away from you, and you are unable to utilize the energy of that element because it is separated from you. The same applies to thoughts held by my brother, thoughts and ideas we're conflicted about accepting sometimes. According to A Course in Miracles, we have to love my brother and all his creations in order to return all the energy that has been broken into smaller pieces back into all that is. You already know this on some level, which is why you always feel bad when you reject someone else's ideas or have to reject the person in any way. It's also why rejection is such a heavy burden for us to bear. We know that we have to love everything in order to return to Source. Of course, the hardest part of this activity is our reaction to polarity and duality. For almost every belief or opinion that you might hold, there is always someone whose ideas conflict. We tend to find solace in those with common beliefs. We tend to argue with those who think differently. Remain aware that some debates may never be resolved. In fact, it's important that those points aren't always resolved, because they are for you a very useful tool that enables you to conceptualize new abstract information. Contrast. Often we can see what we want because we first see what we don't want. Without this gift of contrast, it would be infinitely more difficult for us to make leaps of awareness to concepts that we didn't previously know existed. While your comfort in your own beliefs is important, we grow by looking beyond conflicting beliefs to love the soul of the person presenting them. They are helping you define more clearly what you want for yourself, and perhaps providing you with additional perspectives. Simply by being here on the Lightworker mission, you are part of the hairpin bend of creation. Those that are more firmly dedicated to this particular aspect than anything else are going to find their clue in a strange place: children. Having children is a direct polarity of unification, and as a result many of the strong unifiers are very anti-children, against having children and against other people having children, or simply did not procreate in this lifetime. The Messiah Collective. Like no one single person could carry the whole load of redemption for the planet, the collective and unification nature of the shift dictates that the Messiahs form a collective. The tendency to seek one Messiah to change our world belongs to the old hierarchical structure and stems from the concept of imbalance and inequality, the idea that any one person can be more important than any other. Instead of looking for a leader to guide us to higher elevation, what if we all became leaders and did it ourselves? Rather than seeking followers, what if we choose to empower everyone? The strength of ONNS comes from our ability to each contribute to the whole. In religious texts, many speak of the need to speak in tongues. What this means is to speak to man in his own tongue, that is on a level that he can understand. It's not meant to mean talking gibberish. The Twin Flame Mission. The Twin Flame Mission is another really interesting cleanup mission that's taking place. In order to understand it, it helps to understand what twin flames and soulmates actually are. A soulmate is a soul identity created near you at the same time, in a similar geography, while a twin flame is a soul that has split into identical twins. These identical twin souls contain polarities, like yin-yang, black, white, male, female, reflector, reflected, and when they come together in a lifetime and reconcile one of those polarities, they release one of the greatest creative powers in the universe, zero-point energy, because twin flames are a recursion of the original act of creation. Read more about soulmates and twin flames here. Twin flames on this planet have been chosen because they have massive karma. The karma combines with a zero-point burst to grow the volume of energy released exponentially. This absolutely neutral energy is being released in bursts to restore the energetic imbalance on the planet cumulatively over time. As many as 70% of the Lightworkers are twin flames, and there are backups. You do not only have one twin flame you can pair with. The cleanup is too important. So if your flame has ended, buckle up. The next one is on its way. Twin flames are not always romantic relationships. and can be friends and family members too. Throughout our lives, souls come together to support, love and accelerate growth in ways other than sexual union, and sometimes souls come together to antagonize and create reason for change. Soul contracts can be lifelong affairs or brief encounters, and people can have a major impact on each other even though they only meet once. In our personal lives we're reconciling the major energies that the world needs to reconcile for the shift to go through. Those energies include attachment, power, control, force, privacy, honesty, loneliness, free will, consent, equality, inequality, imbalance, balance, impermanence and immortality. Every single decision you make in these areas of your life right now is contributing to the global energy in the morphic field, and this is how we are creating the new world order. Every issue you are resolving in your life is a small recursion, or piece of the energy, of the creation story that helps turn the planet back towards the light. It is vitally important that you are making personal decisions that create the kind of world you want to live in going forward, because it is the energy we're creating inside of us that is shaping our future. Lightwork begins within. The Lightworker vision, mission and purpose. Our vision is what we want to create in the end, our mission is how we go about creating the vision, and our purpose is the day-to-day stuff we do to achieve our mission. Our vision is to create heaven on earth. Since everyone has a different idea of what heaven represents, we combine our efforts to create a world where everyone has the freedom to learn, grow, experience and feel love and joy. A world where every soul has the free will to make the decisions that best serve their growth, and what they are here to contribute to the collective. Our mission is to facilitate the return of God by returning the planet and its people to light and love. God has not left, we are just ignoring her. When we connect to higher forces, we also connect to the greater life force around us. As we grow we glow. Our purpose is to overcome ego identifications and dark forces by improving our energies until we create an impenetrable grid of love and light around the planet. This will enable God to return and create heaven on earth. It is important to recognize that God is not a separate entity who has gone away and might return. Instead, God is an acceleration of life force within each of us, like drops in the ocean. We are all part of God, and ultimately, the responsibility of creating heaven lies with us. We are the ones who can make constructive choices in the physical world. If we wait for some greater force to change it for us, our expectations may not be met. Step forth with your power, increase your glow, help others increase their glow and create heaven on earth by being in your highest possible vibration. The fronts. The main Lightworker fronts are really about issues to do with how our part of creation was made, under the energies of force, control, non-consent, inequality and imbalance. So important fronts for Lightworkers are those where these energies play out: inequality with genders, races, social classes, religions. Imbalance of resources with greed and the 99%, poverty, debt, the economy. Withholding of resources such as cannabis and hemp being made illegal for example, or a border-free world so people can move freely. Force and non-consent, rape and power abuse issues, politics. Control, slavery and human trafficking, the mass-level hypnotism and slavery of the general public through TV and survival issues, animals and animal rights. Assistance to those with issues that impede personal growth, providing every individual with empowerment and self-esteem. A shift from a society that encourages continuous growth and production, despite the negative impact of this philosophy, and instead focuses on creating a harmonious balance of life on our planet. I hope you like the video. Welcome to your channel. Don't forget to check out the other uploads.